Merhabalar. Bir hafta aradan sonra yeniden karşınızdayız. Ama maalesef evimizde yeni bir şey yok. Yine yasaklar, baskılar, tutuklamalar. Bakalım bu haftayı nasıl geçirmişiz?
Singer Gülshan, who has long been targeted for her clothes she wears in her concerts and her advocacy for LGBTIQ rights, was arrested and charged of public incitement to hatred and hostility or denigration for a remark she made on stage at a concert in April. Gülshan had been targeted by the spokespersons of the ruling parties, pro-government media, and conservative trolls, and targeted by a lynch campaign due to her statement, "He studied at an Imam Hatip school. That's where his perversion comes from," in a video recorded during the concert while she was joking with her crew, referring to a friend she was performing with. Gülshan stated in her defense statement that the video was shared for provocative purposes, saying, "This is a conversation between Miraç and me, probably between songs at the stage of the concert that I don't remember. When I addressed my orchestra and said, 'Carry me on your shoulders' among the audience,' and the orchestra replied to me with, 'Let the Imam carry you.' The conversation in question took place between Miraç and me."
The Turkish Bar Associations Union issued a statement on the issue and stated that Gülshan's arrest once again revealed that Turkey is at an alarming stage in terms of the independence and impartiality of the judiciary, as well as the misuse of the measure of arrest, saying, as it has been seen many times before, arrest is used as a means of penalization by the criminal judicature of peace in this case as well.
The Constitutional Court rejected the application of Tayfun Kahraman, Mücella Yapıcı, and Can Atalay, who were sentenced to 18 years in prison in the Gezi Park case, which was made on the grounds that the arrest warrant issued against them was unlawful. The application, which was made on the grounds that their right to personal liberty and security, freedom of expression, the right to organize meetings and demonstrations, and freedom of association were violated due to the arrest warrant issued, that the verdict was found inadmissible by the Constitutional Court on the grounds that it was clearly lacking in grounds.
Since 1995, the Saturday mothers have been gathering at Galatasaray Square for their disappeared and murdered children. They made a statement regarding the police violence against them and the square, which has been under police blockade for 4 years, and said, "The government uses the ban decisions implemented by the governorates and district governorates as a means of silencing the society and forcing it to obey their ideology. Today, louder than ever, it is time to say no to the bans without discrimination. No matter who's silent, we will not be silent. It is a matter of dignity for us to tell about the persecution we've witnessed."
The music festival Million Fest, which was planned to be held between September 1 and 4 with the support for the Fethiye municipality, was banned with a government decree. Thus, 16 concerts and festivals have been cancelled in the last 4 months.
The Mersin Governorate banned the concert organized by the Human Rights Association Mersin branch on September 1st, World Peace Day, where artists Pınar Aydınlar and Dodan Özer were to perform on the grounds that it threatened public security.
The Press Ed Institute has taken its official advertisement embargo against Evrensel Daily one step further and completely revoked the newspaper's right to publish official advertisements. The Press Ed Institute, BIG, used the fact that Evrensel Daily readers buy the newspaper en masse at certain points during its inspections and justification for the cancellation.
An ex officio investigation was launched against Republican People's Party Mersin Parliament member Ali Mahir Başarır, former Republican People's Party Balıkesir Parliament member Mehmet Tüm, and former Republican People's Party Istanbul Deputy Provincial Chair Murat Akbaş due to their remarks against President Erdogan and Interior Minister Süleyman Soylu during their speeches at panels organized at the 5th Book Fair in Balıkesir's Edremit district. The 3 names were charged with insulting the president, inciting people to hatred and hostility and humiliation.
An investigation was initiated against Bir Gün Daily's editorial coordinator, İbrahim Varlı, due to his tweet, "Islamists are cruel." Islamists are tyrants. There is no evil that Islamists cannot do. Posted on September 25, 2020, on the grounds of public incitement to hatred and hostility.
Journalist Vildan Atmaca, who was detained in a police raid against her house in Istanbul in February and was released after 8 days, was investigated for terrorist organization membership based on the news she had reported in 2015 and 2016. 6 months later, a verdict of non-prosecution was issued.
The investigation against Gaziantep Bar Association lawyer Bektaş Şarklı, who was charged with insulting Erdogan due to his social media posts, ended in non-prosecution. With the scope of the file, Şarklı wrote, Justice and Development Party AKP organizations are queuing for buffalo yogurt and pinecone honey. Sultan Süleyman has instructed so. You couldn't eat buffalo yogurt, pinecone honey, and Medina dates today as well, could you? The people from the palace are eating and giving thanks on behalf of you as well.
The appeal against the detainment of 16 journalists who were arrested on June 16th on charges of terrorist organization membership after being detained in an operation in Diyarbakir on June 8th was denied. Diyarbakir 5th Criminal Court of First Instance ruled that the detainment of the journalists for more than 2 months was proportionate and in accordance with the procedure and law.
Diyarbakir Chief Public Prosecutor's Office prepared a new indictment against former People's Democratic Party HDP Education Commission member Çektar Budak, who was among the 10 people arrested on May 20 in an investigation against People's Democratic Party Youth Assembly members and Party Assembly members. Budak was charged in the indictment based on his training of party members, as well as 2 books that were seized during a police raid at his house on the grounds that they were subject to a confiscation order. The trial of Budak, who is charged with terrorist organization membership, will begin at Diyarbakir 8th Assize Court on November 17.
The Diyarbakir 5th Assize Court announced the reasoning behind the prison sentence given to journalist Abdurrahman Gök for making propaganda for a terrorist organization for photographing the killing of university student Kemal Korkut by the police during the Newroz celebration in Diyarbakir in 2017. In 2014, the court sentenced Gök to 1 year and 6 months in prison for the photographs he took in Syria as a war correspondent. The court argued that the journalist's sharing of photographs he took in a conflict zone with armed people was evidence of the crime. The court claimed that Gök's defense that he was a journalist and that he took these photos as part of his journalistic activity was an attempt to avoid the crime and punishment.
The gendarmerie intervened at night against the villagers who were holding a vigil against the geothermal power plant to be built in Mezeköy district of Aydın. 18 villagers were detained. The district government banned entry and exit to Mezeköy for a week, and members of Çine Life Platform and Aydın Ecology and Life Platform who wanted to go to the village were prevented from entering the village by the gendarmerie.
The district governor, who banned entry to and exit from the village for 7 days in order to prevent any reaction against the geothermal power plant company against which villagers protested in Mezeköy in Köşk district of Aydın, blocked access to the news of Evrensel Daily. Following the application of District Governor Tuğba Polat, Aydın First Criminal Court of Peace issued an access block on the article, Villagers continue to stand watch against geothermal power plant. District Governor threatens village headman with geothermal power plant, dated July 28th.
The police intervened in the 35-day strike by ETF textile workers in Tuzla district of Istanbul for their unpaid compensation, bonuses and salaries. Guards and the riot police battered and dragged the workers away from the factory as the workers tried to prevent the removal of goods from the factory. Workers Aliye Doğan, Semal Ermi, and Deritex Tuzla branch president Hikmet Numanoğlu received an assault report for rib injuries.
In Tokatköy neighborhood of Beykoz district of Istanbul, Justice and Development Party's Beykoz municipality tried to evict citizens from their houses by force, even though the courts issued a stay of execution. The police intervened harshly against the citizens who took to the roof to prevent eviction. The police used rubber bullets against the citizens on the roof and pepper sprayed them in the house as they entered. 16 people were detained. The police also intervened against journalists. Journalists who wanted to take footage of the incidents were dragged out of the area by the police.
The police attacked the funeral ceremony organized for Gökhan Gür in Perşembe district of Ordu. The police used tear gas during the ceremony and tried to detain those carrying the coffin and those holding banners and kicked the coffin. Political party and NGO representatives and Gür's family intervened and tried to prevent intervention. 9 people were detained.
In the 22nd week of the Justice Watch protests, relatives of ill prisoners gathered at Kartal Square in Istanbul and were taken under blockade by the police. The police prevented the statement, citing a ban order of the district governorate.
As an investigation was launched against villagers who reacted against the expropriation order issued for the village of Gundikremo in the central Şırnak province for the coal exploration activities of the company owned by Justice and Development Party member Süleyman Bölünmez on the allegation of damaging public property.
After Professor Yaman Akdeniz, one of the founders of the Freedom of Expression Association, raised the issue of fake court orders sent to some news websites to delete certain news articles, the Gaziantep Second Criminal Judicature of Peace imposed an access block on 141 news articles, Twitter and Facebook posts on the subject. Kahramanmaraş Pazarcı Criminal Judicature of Peace decided to delete Akdeniz's tweets and many other news articles on the fake court orders issued on the grounds of violation of personal rights.
The Istanbul Anatolian Third Criminal Judicature of Peace blocked access to the news that mentioned the name of the suspended Sakarya tax court judge who was involved in the operation against 3 criminal organizations that manipulated iron and steel prices and caused public damage with fake invoices on the grounds of violation of personal rights.
Taşkesenlioğlu's divorced husband, former Turkish Aeronautical Association University rector Ünsal Ban, had posted on a social media account that he would make statements in response to being asked for a total of 70 million Turkish liras. A few days later, the same Criminal Judicature of Peace censored more than 70 other news articles, including the one published on our website about the access block.
The Derek Criminal Judicature of Peace imposed a media blackout on the reports on the accident in Derek, Mardin, in which 20 citizens lost their lives. The court cited the protection of public health, national security, public order, public safety, and prevention of further crimes as grounds for the blackout. No similar decree was issued regarding the accident in Gaziantep, where 21 citizens, including 2 journalists, lost their lives on the same day as the accident was caused by trucks leaving Etibakır, owned by Cengiz Holding, one of the government's tender-rich companies.
24-year-old Orhan Azman, who was detained in Manisa on charges of resisting the police, died suspiciously in Selendi District Gendarmerie Command Detainment Center. It was claimed that Azman, who was kept in custody, ended his life by hanging himself with his t-shirt around his neck on the window bar of the detainment center's bathroom. An investigation was launched into the incident.
The Constitutional Court rejected the application of the family of Abdullah Cömert, who was killed when a tear gas shell fired by the police hit his head in Hatay during the Gezi Park resistance. The Constitutional Court found the Cömert family's application for violation for the right of life inadmissible and cited the 6-year, 10 months and 15-day prison sentence given to the murdered police officer Ahmet Kuş with a discretionary discount as a reason. Eren Can, lawyer of the Cömert family, said, "We have seen the impunity policy in cases where the perpetrator is the state's law enforcement agency." The Constitutional Court evaluated the sentence issued for conscious negligence for police violence as proportional to the crime. They made it look as if there was a very fair trial, but the accused police officer was not arrested even for a single day. He was in and out of prison for 3 or 4 days after he was sentenced. The policy is actually a result of the state saying to the public officials who commit crimes, "Relax, I got your back."
Haftaya yeniden görüşünceye değin hoşça kalın.